feel like it's game week?
It needs to be game week. We've gone through 3 weeks of camp. Kids have really worked their tails off through those 3 weeks of camp. Kind of start preparing. Last Thursday was kind of like our first day of prep for Angelo State, but it's time. It feels like game week. You can feel the energy, you can feel the excitement, you can feel the intensity, and you just kind of feel the blood starting to boil right now. And so we need to get here, right? It's what is today, Monday? And we got Tuesday, and then we got Wednesday, and then we're playing. We're excited about it. Excited for the opportunity, and it's time to get going.
Heard a lot of players here this summer, voluntary workouts. Could you tell a difference in camp and maybe where you are at this point from years past?
Absolutely. I mean, last year's group did a really good job, but this year's group really took the next step of what leadership is all about and ownership. So they made sure the guys were accountable this summer. They make sure they were disciplined this summer. They took care of any issues that we might have had this summer as well with kids not making it to weights or showing up late. Those kids took care of the problems. But they also did, practices. I mean, they had individual. They did 7-on-7. They did team sessions on their own. And, you can't ask for more than that. I mean, I think we've had more guys here this summer than we've had ever, since I've been here.
When you have classes like this with that sort of leadership, do you see it when they're red shirts and when they're freshmen and maybe not in their starring roles that they are now? Do you still see that leadership even then?
Yeah, you get a good idea of who your leaders are going to be just by their work ethic, kind of how they manage their group of freshmen, because most freshmen don't get the opportunity to be in our locker room right now, which here in the near future, that will happen. But you can just kind of see with how they kind of manage their own group and how they, interact with the older guys as well, and how they learn, from the older guys on what and what not to do. So, but you could tell that this group of leaders and the ones that were voted on as captains, as you saw last week on the post, that those guys were voted on by unanimously by their teammates, and so they deserved it. They did the things that they were supposed to do, and they picked the right ones, which was good.
One of those leaders, Caleb Heebner, quarterback, emerged last season, finished the year strong, and your starter going into the opener. What have you known different with him, or maybe how's he elevated his game from even last year going into this season?
He's always been a student of the game. I mean, he truly has. I think it's just even elevated even more, over this last, really since the fall got over, just his meetings with Coach Ross. I mean, I don't know if he ever gets away from Coach Ross. I think he might just live with Coach Ross as much as he wants to meet with them. His film study, just his preparation every single day, going through the scripts, drawing every single play that we might possibly have going in that day, getting with his wide receivers and tight ends, and just making sure everybody's on the same page, and just the amount of film that he watches, continuously. He's not a guy that just watches an hour here or there. I mean, when he's watching, it's an all-day thing of him just trying to improve his game and make himself better and make everybody around him better as well.
You mentioned Coach Ross. Have you noticed a difference going into year two now? He's had a full season at Fort Hays State under his belt. Can you see a difference in maybe the offense opening up even more?
Just a little more confidence, that first year kind of getting thrown to the fire, and here you go, let's go at it. And, but he did a really good job last year, I thought, with managing our team and the things that were going on and changing the whole dynamic of our team as well. I mean, the guy has a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. He's a younger guy, of course, so he has a little bit more juice than us old guys do, but I still got a little bit of it in there. But just the kind of way he goes about it, he's pretty calm, he's pretty cool, pretty collected, and that's what you have to be on the offensive side of the ball, is because some good things are going to happen and some bad things are going to happen. And when good things happen, let's just keep rolling. When bad things happen, hey, we got to find a way to fix it and change it and make it better. But I'm proud of the way he's handled the situation and what he's done, and I'm glad he's our OC.
It seems like over the years we learn each year that you have adjusted a little bit on how you approach your team. Maybe it's more hands-on, less hands-on, more verbal, less verbal. What is it about this year's team maybe that you approach them a little differently than even last year's?
I don't know. I think I'm pretty much the same all the time, I would think, but maybe I'm not. But this group really takes care of the problems more than I have to, right? I mean, last year's group was kind of the same way. So I just kind of let them take care of the little minor things that need to be taken care of. The practice tempo is kind of on them, as well, of getting the energy going and getting the excitement going. The film study is a lot on them as well, making sure they're getting the guys, in the film room where, years past I'd have to force guys to go in there and do those things and tell them you need to be in there. But you can't force them, but, hey, if you want to be on the field and you want to play, you need to do these things to make yourself better and get yourself on the football field. But this group is pretty easy, but I still got to get in there and give a little energy, give a little juice, give a little excitement, and give a little grit to them as well.
Is that the dream of every coach and maybe every program, is that in a lot of ways it's player-led?
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's when you have a player-led team, great things usually happen, and that's what we have right now, guys that just lead, do things the right way, hold each other accountable, making sure guys are doing things that, doing exactly what they need to do to help us win. They're selfless. It's not about them. It's about this team and what they can do to help this team win ball games. And when you surround your, younger guys, especially the freshmen coming in, they see that, and then they start to replicate those things as well, and it just continues to build. So, I'm proud of these guys for doing that, especially our captains, and there's other leaders on this team as well. But when you get that, good things usually happen.
Shane Watts obviously had a phenomenal season last year, and we've seen what he's done, in his professional career. Has anyone emerged to kind of fill that role at lead running back, or is that going to be kind of a committee thing this year?
I mean, right now it's probably more of a committee. I mean, I think probably Travis is of course recovering from his injury from last year, but he's fully recovered right now. I mean, so he might be limited a little bit with what he can do, but then there's three other guys that we feel like can step in that role and do a good job. We just need one of those guys to emerge and to be the guy, to be an MIAA running back, and that's something that I've been harping on him quite a bit about during practice, and letting them know that we need an MIAA running back, and those guys are fast, they're strong, they're physical. They score touchdowns and they catch the ball out of the backfield. So I've seen that progress over the last couple of weeks, and we'll see on Thursday who that guy is and who's going to carry the tote the rest of the year.
Doesn't matter how many people a team returns. You get ready to see Angelo State. How much stock can you put into last year's film, with that being game one, and then not even really sure of who their quarterback was going to be, and then to game one this season?
Good thing is, Coach Christian and I are pretty good friends, and we've talked a lot over through these last couple of years with being able to play each other. But we traded every game film from last year just to kind of give us both an idea of what's going on. You got a good idea who their starters are, just like they got a good idea of who our starters are as well. I'm sure they've got some transfers, just like we have a few transfers as well. So you just don't know who those guys are and how that changes an offense or changes a defense. But you got to kind of just base off of what you saw last year through all the film that you watched, and get a good idea of what they're doing, but always be ready for something new. So you just got the few little twists, at your guys during practice, so they kind of get ready for it. And if you follow your rules and do your assignment, usually those things work out anyway.
They ended up having a pretty good defense, one of the tops in the country last year, as did you. Is this one of those games where points could be at a premium and the defenses have an upper hand maybe in week one?
Yeah, I hope our defense plays well, and I hope our offense plays really, really well as well. So I'm hoping it's not one of those games. I'm hoping our offense goes out there and can do the things that I'm expecting it to do, because I think we're very talented on that side of the ball, and I think we're very talented defensively as well. Our job defensively is to keep points off the board, and our offense is to score as many points as we possibly can. So I hope it's not a defensive battle, a defensive draw. I hope it's a real football game, and a lot of big plays are made, and we're on the end of those, making those big plays.
Do you have any concerns, anything that's keeping you up at night other than the game leading into this with your team?
Probably just you and Gerard are the ones that keep me up the most. But honestly, I feel really good, about where we're at right now, just because of the preparation through the summer, the fall camp that we had, the leadership that we have as well. Probably the main concern is probably in the back end, where I coach the safeties and those guys, and the only guy with any experience at all that's game experience is Jackson Calzo, and that's it. So it's hopefully those guys have come along far enough. I know we'll probably be pretty simple and basic with what we do right now, just so those guys get kind of caught up with what we got. But we have some good transfers that came in as well to help us out in the back end. I think they'll do a good job. But you don't know until the lights come on. I mean, the whole thing, everything changes once the lights come on. Can those guys play underneath the lights and get after during game time, or can they not? And so it's going to be the experience of Jackson kind of controlling those guys and getting them ready and making sure he makes the right calls, and those guys listening to him in the back end. The potential's there. It's just the experience is lacking right now. So hopefully, the potential overtakes the lack of experience.
A lot made about you beating them last year, them making the playoffs over you. Do do you bring that up, or do you temper that, or does that even have any bearing on Thursday?
We're just worried about ourselves, and that's it, right? If we go and do what we're supposed to do and take care of business and win ball games, we'll get ourselves into the playoffs and we'll win a conference championship. If we don't take care of business, all those things can go away pretty quick. So I think it's just really us focusing on making ourselves better each week and going and competing and giving ourselves an opportunity to win every ball game, which I think we can do with the young men that we have. So that's it. Focus on ourselves, control what we can control. We can't control our opponent. Play physical, play aggressive, make big plays on both sides of the ball. Don't turn the ball over offensively, create turnovers on defense, have some explosive plays offensively, eliminate the explosive plays defensively. Then our special teams, we really got to be good in special teams because, in game one, it's usually penalties and special teams that get you beat.
The last time we had a press conference was on signing day, and between then and now was the big cut down on the Division I level to 105 kids. What was that time like? Maybe not only for your program, but other coaches you talked to, just because of just an unlimited number of players that all of a sudden became available from the Division I program.
It was just the unknown for so long too, right? I mean, it's 120, then it's 105, then it's back up to 120. I mean, they really couldn't make a decision, so it was kind of, you really didn't really have a chance to talk to too many of those kids. By that point, when it was time to really do it, we were kind of filled and had our guys that we wanted. So I feel bad for those kids that got released and got cut because it's hard to find a home. The portal's getting crazy now with as many kids that are in there right now trying to find homes. And I bet you probably 90% of them don't land anywhere, which is sadder if they just stick around. But those D1 kids, that's a tough deal, and I think that's hard on D1s as well, just having the numbers to practice too with, because you do have injuries. If you go to 105 and you got 10 injuries, now you're down to 95, and how do you practice? I mean, do you have a practice squad or do you not? Do your 2s and 3s have to go now down to be your practice squad guys? So that's just a tough deal, all right? But I think we got the guys that we wanted, and I feel good with where we're at.